It's that uprising.
Welcome back to the Uprising. I'm Pac, and this is Adam Lumley. What's going on, man?
Not much, dude. Not much. We're going to be talking about the debates, VP debates between Pence and Kamala Harris. We're going to be talking about our president, how much of an idiot he is, and trying to stop the stimulus talks. Then they backtracked and walked that back, and what we think is going to happen with that. We're going to talk about the attempted kidnapping of Governor Whitmer, however you say her name, from Michigan. And we're going to talk about Mark Meadows going to a wedding in May in Atlanta, Georgia. About 70 people out there. And, of course, no one was wearing a mask. Mind you, this was during the height of the pandemic when it came to the lockdowns. And mind you, this was against the law, even in Georgia, which had some of the loosest restrictions in the country. So I'm going to talk about how the elites do whatever they want and get away with it usually, and how ridiculous and hypocritical the elites tend to be. So we're going to get into it. Becky, you have anything to say before we get into it?
Nah, man, we can just, let's dive right in.
All right.
All right. Let's see here. Oh.
But Americans also deserve a discussion that is civil. These are tumultuous times, but we can and will have a respectful exchange about the big issues facing our nation. Let's begin with the ongoing pandemic that has cost our country so much. Senator Harris, the coronavirus is not under control. Over the past week, Johns Hopkins reports that 39 states have had more COVID cases over the past 7 days than in the week before. 9 states have set new records. Even if a vaccine is released soon, the next administration will face hard choices. What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? Would you impose new lockdowns for businesses and schools and hotspots? A federal mandate to wear masks? You have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Thank you.
Pause it right quick.
Well, the American people.
So what do I think is going to happen if Biden gets elected, which likely going to happen? Is going to be I think mask mandates is going to happen. I think that's going to happen. I think the shutdowns and extremely strict lockdowns might not happen. I don't know. Really depends where we're at in the pandemic when they take over. If they take over. I don't know what exactly different is going to be between what Trump is doing and Pence, Trump and Biden. I can tell you one thing: they're going to wear masks and be way more competent. So that's a plus. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm looking at the very bottom of what we should expect. Yeah, definitely we can expect the mask mandate. As far as just the pandemic, that's about the best we can get. I think we'd be lucky to get decriminalization of marijuana and have it dropped from a Scheduled 1. That's the least they could do.
Oh, I was just talking about the pandemic wise. We can talk about everything else.
I'm just saying my expectations are there.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
People have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. And here are the facts. 210,000 dead people in our country in just the last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease. 1 in 5 businesses closed. We're looking at frontline workers who have been treated like sacrificial workers. We are looking at over 30 million people who in the last several months had to file for unemployment. And here's the thing. On January 28th, the vice president and the president were informed about the nature of this pandemic. They were informed that it's lethal in consequence, that it is airborne, that it will affect young people, and that it would be contracted because it is airborne. And they knew what was happening, and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of that, today they still don't have a plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold.
I don't know how they're going to do contact tracing because it's so out of control that it's kind of impossible in my eyes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's a little too late for that. That the contact tracing would have had to been implemented immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's already too lost in the sauce. I mean, if you want to just going to contact trace new cases, okay. But most of the stuff that's being spread is from people who've had it for a while and have been asymptomatic.
Yeah, or people that already had it and had it again.
Right.
Some people's gotten it more than one, so.
Yeah, it's I don't know how that's going to be possible. But if they think they can pull that off.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's go back here.
And we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that. And frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-election based on this.
Thank you, Senator Harris.
I agree with that.
Vice President Pence, more than
Definitely agree with that.
210,000 Americans have died of COVID-19 since February. The U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population is higher than that of almost every other wealthy nation on
I saw that, Mikey.
For instance, our death rate is 2.5 times that of Canada next door. You head the administration's coronavirus task force. Why is the U.S. death toll as a percentage of our population higher than that of almost every other wealthy country? And you have 2 minutes to respond without interruption.
Susan, thank you. And I want to thank the Commission and the University of Utah for hosting this event. And
Let's not
Senator
answer
Harris,
the question at all.
It's a privilege to be on the stage with you. And our nation has gone through a very challenging time this year. But I want the American people to know that from the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first. Before there were more than 5 cases in the United States, all people who had returned from China, President Donald Trump did what no other American president had ever done. And that was he suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world.
Pause it, please.
Now, Senator.
Again, they're using this bullshit. They didn't quarantine those people, didn't trace those people. And it's more than 5 people, too. They're more than just 5 Americans. And again, feel like I'm Haas and had to repeat myself. But again, they didn't shut down Europe in time. They should have did that second into with China.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't dipshits. They would have. Being racist idiots that wanted to blame China, even though the biggest issue, the biggest spreader was from Europe and New York and that area, that tri-state area. So yeah, it's, again, using this bullshit excuse. And Mike Pence looks like an elf.
Yes, he does. And Trump has done a lot of things that other presidents haven't done. That doesn't mean that they're good things.
Another thing is like, no, the president, like, this is 100-year pandemic. Two, it wouldn't be 100-year pandemic if you guys weren't so fucking incompetent.
This is Pence, and you can hear Donald Trump shit
Yeah, I
coming
mean,
out of his mouth. He
really
makes it
good
sound it makes it sound better, but it's still bullshit.
He's really good at bullshitting. And
Yeah.
bullshitting is the Trump nonsense. Before we get back into it, so I saw this bumper sticker a couple weeks ago. I've seen it a couple times, but recently I seen it a couple weeks ago, and it says Trump 2020, no more bullshit. I can't remember if I brought this up.
If that ain't the most contradictory fucking sign ever.
I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast yet, but I'm bringing it up now.
No.
Pac, he has this saying, and I think it's perfectly describes Republicans, is they think the sky is red and we live on clouds. Well, there you go. They don't live in the real reality. They live in their little fantasy land.
It's two different worlds, man. What's crazy is there's only one world. There's one, guys, and we're all in the same one.
Yeah, that's
no. Well, this is my world. That they want the world to be theirs. That's their ultimate goal, is world domination.
Yeah.
Oh, back to the bullshit. Here we go. It's all right.
That pretty much is back to bullshit.
Joe Biden opposed that decision. He said it was xenophobic and hysterical.
He's right about that.
And I can tell you, having led the White House coronavirus task force,
that was true what he
decision
said
by President Trump.
He said a true
valuable
thing.
time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II. And I believe it saved hundreds of thousands of American lives. Because with that time, we were able to reinvent testing. More than 115 million tests have been done to date. We were able to see to the delivery of billions of supplies so our doctors and nurses had the resource and support they needed. And we began, really before the month of February was out, to develop a vaccine and to develop medicines and therapeutics that have been saving lives all along the way. And under President Trump's leadership, Operation Warp Speed, we believe, will have literally tens of millions of doses of a vaccine before the end of this year. The reality is, when you look at the Biden plan, it reads an awful...
Oh, you got to pause it. All right.
Never mind what you believe, dummy. What's going to happen? And we believe. See, this is the thing, man. Republicans are good at Republican shit. And the way they say things is it doesn't go past us, bro. It doesn't go past us because we are listening. But the people that already are believing in them, they're not listening like we are. So what he just said went right through and out the other end. You know what I mean?
Well, Republicans are incredible at propaganda.
Right.
They're amazing at propaganda.
It took us an amazing time to develop a vaccine. What? I got red on that one, boy. Okay, sorry. I just had to take a breather, man. I was watching this whole time going, this bullshit ass artist. Oh, bad actor. All right, let's
Fucking failed Republican talk show host.
Oh my gosh.
Before you go into it, like how the fuck are you not good enough to be a millionaire if you're a Republican talk show host? It's so fucking easy. You just have to lie and speak nonsense and half truths or just make up stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I've told back this before, but like if I didn't believe in these causes and these beliefs, progressive beliefs, I would be just a Republican and make a shit ton of money. Because it's not hard.
Yeah. No, it's
money.
not.
It's not no money on our side. It's a fuck ton of money on the other side.
No, but here's the thing, like being hateful and evil doesn't come easy to good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's real easy for them to be evil and have hatred because it's just, it's inherently what they do.
Yeah.
But man,
I couldn't live with myself if I did that. So I couldn't live with myself if I did that.
all right, let's go.
Awful lot, like what President Trump and I and our task force have been doing every step of the way. I mean, quite frankly, when I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. And I think the American people know that this is a president who has put the health of America first, and the American people, I believe with my heart, can be proud of the sacrifices they have made.
Thank you.
It's saved countless American lives.
Thank you.
Senator Harris, would you like to respond?
Again? That little jab against Joe Biden was actually pretty good. If you don't know what he's talking about, 1988, Joe Biden ran for president the first time. He got kicked out of the primary because he plagiarized a couple of speeches from other people. And I should tell you about how much our politics is sunk into an unbelievable low. A person plagiarized a speech and got kicked out of race. A guy that lies and says the Mexicans are rapists is our president. So I should tell you how bad our politics is.
Just okay. I wanted a second.
Before we go back into it, the PPE thing, they're again, what country were they living in March and early in the pandemic? They didn't have any people didn't have any PPE for their incompetence. So nurses in like New York and areas literally had to make trash bags for PPE. So I don't want to hear that. It's fucking nonsense.
Absolutely. Whatever the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked. When you're looking at over 210,000 dead bodies in our country, American lives that have been lost, families that are grieving that loss. And you know, the vice president is the head of the task force and knew on January 28th how serious this was. And then thanks to Bob Woodward, we learned that they knew about it. And then when that was exposed, the vice president said, when asked, well, why didn't y'all tell anybody? He said, because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's get
no, but Susan, this is important.
Susan,
I want to add, but
here.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I'm
speaking.
Yeah, you can
So
have 15 more
wanna-
seconds, and then we'll give the vice president
Thank
a
you.
chance to
So I
respond.
want to ask the American people, how calm were you when you were panicked about where you're going to get your next roll of toilet paper? How calm were you when your kids were sent home from school and you didn't know when they could go back? How calm were you when your children couldn't see your parents because you were afraid they could kill them?
Let's give Vice President Pence a chance to respond. Vice President, you have 1 minute to respond.
You know, there's not a day gone by that I have.
They've been watching the Uprising because that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
How come are you when you're fighting people over toilet paper and the stock market was collapsing? Yeah, she did a good job right there.
Yeah, for sure.
And a good job of cutting that elf-looking motherfucker off too. Not letting him talk over her like Joe Biden did with Orange Man. So.
Yeah. No, she didn't. She wasn't having it. But he was. Well, he does keep going on where the moderator. She had to keep saying, "Thank you, Mr. President." I mean, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. Vice. Like trying to get him like, okay, let's go to something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Thought of every American family that's lost a loved one. And I want all of you to know that you'll always be in our hearts and in our prayers. But when you say what the American people have done over these last 8 months hasn't worked, that's a great disservice for the sacrifices the American people have made.
Got that zombie eye.
The reality, if I may finish, Senator, the reality is Dr. Fauci said everything that he told the president in the Oval Office, the president told the American people. Now, President Trump, I will tell you, has boundless confidence in the American people, and he always spoke with confidence that we'd get through this together. But when you say it hasn't worked, when Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and our medical experts came to us in the second week of March, they said if the president didn't take the unprecedented step of shutting down roughly half of the American economy, that we could lose 2.2 million Americans. That's the reality.
Thank you.
We also
still
said
might.
this, if we did everything right, Susan, we could still lose more than 200,000 Americans.
Vice
Now,
President
one
Pence,
life lost is
Thank
too
you.
many, Susan. But the American people, I believe, deserve credit for the sacrifices that they have made, putting the health of their family and their neighbors first, our doctors, our nurses, our first
Thank you, Vice
responders.
President Pence.
And I'm going to speak up on behalf of what the American people have done.
Vice President Pence, you were in the front row in a Rose Garden event 11 days ago at what seems to have been a super spreader event for senior administration and congressional officials. No social distancing, few masks, and now a cluster of coronavirus cases among those who were there. How can you expect Americans to follow the administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves from COVID when you at the White House have not been doing so?
Well, the American people have demonstrated over the last 8 months that when given the facts, they're willing to put the health of their families and their neighbors and people they don't even know first. And President Trump and I have great confidence in the American people and their ability to take that information.
Answer the fucking question, you bastard.
And there are people out there who don't care about other people's lives who are causing the spread to keep going. What are you fucking talking about, you fucking Muppet?
Muppet.
He looked like somebody just wake up every morning and draw this motherfucker, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about everyone's like, no, only half of us are looking out for each other. And it ain't their half either.
Yeah.
All right. A little bit more of this, man.
He looks like a King of the Hill main character's dad. Someone said that before.
Oh, shit.
He does a lot, actually. That's
Practice. In the height of the epidemic, when we were losing
yeah. You've seen it now.
500
Now I
Americans
see
a day, we surged resources to New Jersey.
Oh, that's a good one.
New York and New Orleans and Detroit. We told the American people what needed to be done, and the American people made the sacrifices. When the outbreak in the Sun Belt happened this summer, again, Americans stepped forward. But the reality is the work of the President of the United States goes on. A vacancy on the Supreme Court of the United States has come upon us, and the President introduced Judge Amy Coney
Yes,
Barrett.
thank you. Thank you, Vice
But
President Pence.
that, if I may say, that Rose Garden event, there's been a great deal of speculation about it. My wife Karen and I were there and honored to be there. Many of the people who were at that event sued
Sorry, pause it right quick.
for coronavirus, and it was an
Take the camera.
Oh, wait. Can we do it side by side? Can we do it side by side? Okay, y'all, look at that picture. Hold it up just a little bit more. Right there. Perfect. And bam! Oh, shit. It's him.
an outdoor event, which all of our scientists regularly and routinely advise. The difference here is President Trump and I trust the American people to make choices in the best interest of their health. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care,
Thank you,
the
Vice
Green New
President
Deal, all government control. We're about freedom and respecting the freedom of the American people.
Let's talk about respecting the American people. You respect the American people when you tell them the truth. You respect the American people.
She's not wrong about that. Yeah, they're still using this socialism sucks nonsense that's not working. People that actually believe that nonsense are going to vote for Trump anyway. people that understand that's not true are going to vote for Biden, and people that don't know that's not true might be voting for Biden just because of that. Oh shit, he's actually going to give me healthcare. Let me vote for him. No, that's not going to happen. King of Hill looking motherfucker.
When you have the courage
Which we've
to be a
always
leader,
done.
speaking of those things that you may not want people to hear, but they need to hear so they can protect themselves. But this administration stood on information that if you had as a parent, if you had as a worker, knowing you didn't have enough money saved up, and now you're standing in a food line because of the ineptitude of an administration that was unwilling to speak the truth to the American people. So let's talk about caring about the American people. The American people have had to sacrifice far too much because of the incompetence of this administration. It is asking too much of the people.
Susan, we talked about
Vice
It is
President
asking
Pence.
too much of the people.
Look-
That they would not be equipped with the information they need to help themselves to protect
Susan,
their
the
parents
President-
and
No,
their
I'm
children.
sorry. Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, I'm sorry.
It's fine, I'm Kamala.
No, you're Senator Harris to me. For life to get back to normal, Dr. Anthony Fauci and other experts say that most of the people who can be vaccinated need to be vaccinated. But half of Americans now say they wouldn't take a vaccine if it was released now. If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
I'm sorry, I had to stop it right there. Yes, if Donald Trump tells me to take it, I'm not taking it. Ah, man.
That's a better answer than she gave initially.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
She got coached on that.
yeah, I think that she showed a little bit of gangster, just a little. She's she's got more fight in her than Biden.
Yeah. Ben Dixon said this, which I think is perfectly correct in my eyes. Ben Dixon, the best person in left media in my eyes. So he said that he liked what she did. I don't think she was perfect, but she was good. She was good enough. She didn't need to hit a home run. She just needed to hit a single. But that's not what he said. That's what I said. But he said that she can be too rambunctious and too smackdown, essentially. Can smack him down enough because it's going to go into the racial and misogynistic tropes of a angry black woman. So she kind of had to definitely tightrope it, and I think she did a really good job. I can't hear you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. She did better than I thought she would. She had a couple points where she talked her shit, and that was a little reassuring. I mean, in what we're having out here now, what we're talking about, it's definitely not who we wanted up there. It was Biden and Harris. It's who we got, and she did better than I would have, that I expected her to. But a lot of people expected more from her, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. This was more of a debate than what we saw with the first debate with Trump and
Oh God.
Biden. This was more of a debate.
Yeah. Definitely more debate. It was boring, which is what it's supposed to be.
From this pandemic. In recent days, the president's diagnosis of COVID-19 has underscored the importance of the job that you hold and that you are seeking. That's our second topic tonight. It's the role of the vice president. One of you will make history on January 20th. You will be the vice president to the oldest president the United States has ever had. Donald Trump will be 74 years old on Inauguration Day. Joe Biden will be 78 years old. That already has raised concerns among some voters, concerns that have been sharpened by President Trump's hospitalization in recent days. Vice President Pence, have you had a conversation or reached an agreement with President Trump about safeguards or procedures when it comes to the issue of presidential disability? And if not, do you think you should? You have 2 minutes without interruption.
Well, Susan, thank you, although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on to the issue of
but I would like to
vice
go back
presidency.
because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time, in unheard of time, in less than a year. We have 5 companies in phase 3 clinical trials, and we're right now producing tens of millions of doses. So the fact that you continue to undermine public confidence in a vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives. The reality is that we will have a vaccine, we believe, before the end of this year. And it will have the capacity to save countless American lives. And your continuous undermining of confidence in a vaccine is it's just unacceptable. And let me also say, the reality is when you talk about failure in this administration, we actually do know what failure looks like in a pandemic. It was 2009.
Oh, thank you.
Swine flu arrived in the United States.
No. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to stop it right there. I'm not going to listen to the fucking swine flu argument. It's just, it's just like,
Yeah.
there's no substance here. She's up here defending Biden and he's defending Trump. And that's what we're talking about. I mean, yes, she hit on a couple policy issues and I'm sure he made a couple of Republicans excited. But
Yeah.
It's just like, man, this is what we got, guys. This is what we left with.
Mm-hmm.
This is why primaries matter.
Yeah. 300 million people live in this country, way over 300 million people live in this country, and these are the 4 people we choose to run our country.
Right.
2 of the 4.
Yeah, man. It's I think are we good on this?
Yeah.
Okay, we can move to the next thing.
Yeah. Fucking swine flu, stupid talking point's gonna melt my brain. So yeah, we're good.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. All right. Let me find the stupid tweet. Give me 1 second. That's sad they even had to say that. Our president communicates with the world like a 16-year-old teenager. All right. So we're off the debate. We're talking about our topics now. So first topic is going to be about President Trump and him destroying his political presidential campaign chances. But he sort of stopped the stimulus talks at first. Don't know exactly why he did this. Maybe he's on stupid drugs and got mad, so he tweeted. I don't know. People around him need to take his phone away when he's high as a kite. But anyway, so this happened a couple days ago. President Trump, Nancy Pelosi is asking for $2.4 trillion of bailout, poorly run, high crime Democrat states, money that is no way related to COVID-19. We made a very generous offer. We made a very generous offer of $1.6 trillion, and as usual, she said not and she's not negotiating in good faith. I rejected their request and looking forward to our future of our country. I have instructed my representatives to stop negotiating until after the election, when immediately after I win, we will pass a major stimulus bill that will focus on hardworking American small businesses. I've asked Turtle Man and Mitch McConnell not to delay, but instead focus fully on nominating a CB, not ABC. My bad. I said that last week. A CB, likely Justice Barrett. So I don't know why he.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Shut up, Siri. I don't know why he did that, because that pretty much nuked his chances of getting reelected. Because a lot of people's hoping that they'll have any relief in this terrible time for most Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little stimulus check. Peck and I fall in that category. We both need that money right now. It would help a lot. And we're not alone. A whole bunch of other Americans are even worse situations than him and I are. So, yeah, don't know why he did that. He backtracked and literally next morning was trying to say, we need to sign a bill. Come on, Nancy, I'm waiting for you. He said this to everyone, make something happen. I will sign it immediately. Because he realized, because the stock market crashed after he sent those stupid tweets out, and likely his donors, other senators and other people called Doofus Man and said, what are you doing? You're destroying our chances of getting reelected or elected. So again, I don't understand why he did that. Happy he did that, because he's probably nuked his chances of getting reelected. So that's great. Negative sides is we're probably not going to be getting anything until after election and after inauguration. I mean, because I worry that if Trump is a lame duck president, he's not going to do anything, and likely he's going to make everything worse. So,
right.
What do you have? You have anything to say about that?
I think that if I say when he loses, he's a big baby, man. He's gonna go out whining and screaming and pouting and busting his fist on the ground. Yeah. And anything that we, like the American people, need help, and any of that's going to be out of the window until he's out of the White House.
Yeah.
And some people are having a real hard time holding on right now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some people haven't got to go back to work. Some people's mortgage companies aren't working with them, and they're having to leave their homes that they've been in for almost 10 years. Yeah. I don't see. I mean, the best outcome is him not being the president anymore. But he's got a while, enough time to sit in there. You see how much bad he can do in one day.
Yeah.
So he'll still have days there until he has to leave. It's not like, he loses the election and he leaves the next day.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have plenty of time to stir up the pot. And I think he will do that. I mean, he's already telling people to sit at polls and watch other voters.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He's telling people to liberate Michigan, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stop right quick.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming back. We had to take a brief break there.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna be talking about Michigan governor almost getting kidnapped by some right-wing extremists. We're going to hit on that topic right quick. But before I want to go into that, Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted this a little bit ago, earlier tonight, I mean. If you want to know what's at stake this election, if we lose the Senate, Socialist Bernie Sanders will become budget committee chairman. If we hold the Senate and I am reelected, I will hold the budget committee chairman. Someone tweeted, this tweet is more compelling argument for voting for Democrats than anything I've seen from Project Lincoln. like your project.
Yep.
There you go.
Vote, vote, vote.
Yep. You don't even have to vote for Old Milton Brand. I encourage it if you're in a swing state, but Pack and I are not going to vote shame you. You go with your conscience, and we'll live with the results. But definitely need to vote for the down ballot people. That's more important than really anything. In my
Yeah,
eyes.
just don't vote for Trump.
I mean, if you want to vote for Trump, that's fine. But
if you want to vote for Trump, go get psychiatric help right now, because you might be a racist.
I don't know
I'm
why
just
you're
saying.
I don't know why you're watching this channel, but
no. If you're watching this channel and you're voting for Trump, you're just trying to make yourself angry right now.
Yeah. If you're voting for Trump and you're watching this channel, Peck and I need to do a better job to convince you not to do that. So,
yes.
Unless you're being a troll, then
yeah. What are you doing? You don't like truth,
right?
You should be watching something else.
Yeah. So, anyway, alrighty, let's get into it. So, in May, during the lockdowns and everything, or was it not May? It was May. It was around May. Earlier this year. I don't exactly know what month it was. But during the lockdowns, the governor of Michigan had pretty strict lockdown requirements. And a whole lot of right-wingers didn't like that a whole lot. So they barged into the Capitol, threatening people with guns, threatening cops, fighting cops, and all that good stuff. Mind you, that same cops probably tear gassed and beat on protesters against them probably a month later, but that's a different conversation. But so mind you, the president around that time said liberate Michigan because of the lockdown, strict lockdowns. So people took that literally, I think, and they wanted to kidnap the governor and hold her trial for going against the Bill of Rights. And mind you, these are anarchists. Now, some people are saying that they're left-wing anarchists because only left-wingers can be anarchists, which is nonsense. You can be a left-wing anarchist and want a left-wing utopia of whatever you want, you define that as, or you have a right-wing, the same thing, or you're nonpartisan and you just want chaos, like the Joker, pretty much. So you can be a right-winger and be a anarchist, and so get that out of the way. So luckily, FBI did their job, and they got these doofuses. They tried to have a meeting in like northern Michigan to like transfer supplies and other things, and apparently some people that were actual undercovers, and they got them, and no one's hurt. Fortunately for our governor of Michigan and anyone else in that thing, they wanted to like get like 200 people and stormed governor's place and take over and again kidnap her and likely murder her because they don't like her and think she's breaking the Constitution. So again, right-wing extremism is a big problem in this country, and you know, just like Pac is getting mad at his kid, and that the right-wing extremists make me mad. So, yeah. So, again, man, we got to do something about it, and hopefully, Joe Biden and his administration, they get elected, they can start trying to stamp out the extreme of the extremist and try to. After election and after Orange Man goes away, maybe we can try to deconvert some people that are so far into the QAnon MAGA warm brains that some people maybe are not too far gone. So we'll talk about that in a different time. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, she did rip into his campaign after after the plot and all that stuff happened, and I mean, this is to say liberate them, and then you tell them stand back and stand by. I mean, what he's giving orders, and these idiots are listening, and there's no accountability for it. If I had a whole bunch of crazy nut jobs who liked me, and every time I said something, they did what I said, I'd be more careful about what I say. Yeah. But, we're dealing with a child, who loves stirring up the pot,
Yeah.
and won't condemn them because they're his followers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, man.
Fortunately, no one was hurt, and those idiots are hopefully going to prison for a long time.
Yeah.
And all right, our last topic is going to be Mark Meadows. Oh yeah,
I love those wedding invitations.
Yeah, no kidding. So he went to a wedding in May. I think it was a friend of his wedding or someone, doesn't really matter. Anyway, he went there again, like I said in the opening, mind you, this is during the height of the lockdowns, breaking in Georgia law at that time. You couldn't have more than 50 people, actually no, more than 10 people gathering at the time. Mm-hmm. This was 70 people. The law now is like 50, I believe. But breaking the law. No one's wearing masks. So the story is bigger than Mark Meadows. Screw Mark Meadows. I don't really give a shit about him. The bigger problem with the story is the elites do whatever they want in this country. And it's not just a Republican problem. It's both parties. But doesn't even have to be a partisan person either. Like rich people don't really care about politics. Really, just who's going to give me more tax rates. Now you have some true believers, but for the most part, they're just the uber rich people. They're not really partisan. They're just who's gonna do whatever I want more. But and it's gonna come a time, man. This pandemic, like we talked about earlier, about the stimulus, and so many people are going through so many problems. People like Pack and I, people are not going to listen to us anymore at a certain point. Him and I saying that we need to vote and electoral politics is the only way we can go. It's going to get to a point that people are not going to be listening to us or people like us, and they're going to do things that I don't think most people in this country want them to do.
Yeah. So
they need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah, man. It's
because how this economic situation is right now, it's not sustainable. They have so much wealth. They have no regard for their fellow citizen. It's going to get to a point that they're going to regret that decision.
Yeah.
Either it's going to be stuff that I'm not going to say on this channel because I don't want to get us demonetized, or it's going to be someone that makes Bernie Sanders look like a Republican.
Right.
And they need to wake the fuck up.
Yeah, man. I mean,
one of the big reasons why FDR, President Roosevelt, put in the Green New Deal is because if he didn't do that, we might not even have a country because our government might have got overthrown. So people need to wake the fuck up. Trump's not the only problem. Trump's not the only problem. No. And this shit's not going to go away when old Orange Man and Band of Idiots go away.
Oh, no. It's going to be a lot of work to do.
The problem's deeper than that.
Mm-hmm.
You have anything to say, Pat? Definitely.
Basically, they don't have to answer to nobody. They don't have anybody to answer to. Like they feel like they can do whatever they want and, have their COVID weddings and have their rallies and just disregard for like I don't see how you could be cool with somebody who don't care about your life.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? When I go out and I see somebody wearing a mask, I know, hey, they probably give a fuck about other people. When I go out and I see people who aren't wearing masks or are mean mugging the shit out of me because I got a mask on, I know they don't care about nobody but themselves, and they barely care about that. And it's just carelessness, man, and ignorance. You know, you can believe in science. It's a real thing. And, you know, saying, oh, it's only affects 5% of the, we got 210 plus thousand deaths just in the United States, man. That ain't small numbers. And don't spew those. They always like to spew those flu numbers at you. Well, the flu kills this many people in a year. It ain't been a year. It hasn't been a year, and
No.
It's still going. And this ain't the flu. Quit being a jackass. I mean, I don't know why I'm like they're not watching this, but they need to quit being stupid. If you're watching this, you're already taking the right steps.
I mean, it's 1 to 4% death rate. Flu has under 1% death rate. It hasn't been even a year yet. 200 and almost 20,000 now have died.
Right.
60,000 is like the high for a flu. Not super high. It's usually like 30 to 40. So this is fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
Really, it's 3 people. It's kind of coincide with each other, I think. 3 categories. People that are selfish and don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect them because they're probably younger or they're rich. 2, you have COVID idiots that just don't think this is real, that big of a deal. And the 3rd are just people just ignorant and getting wrong information. Which
right.
3rd one, you have these. That's an excuse.
Yeah. Well, there's more hope for them than there is the other 2, I say.
Yeah.
If you're just getting wrong information, it's not really your fault, but you need to maybe wise up and check some other sources before you start building your whole life around it.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna get through this.
You know, and that's the thing. This pandemic won't go away if people don't allow it to go away.
Yeah. Yep. It's just gonna stay here as long as they play stupid.
And I'm not a super like you got to wear your mask inside your house or inside the car. Like Peck and I are not fucking ridiculous when it comes to this. Like,
no, but if you're going to be around other people, especially other people, like if you're around people who don't live with you, you should wear a fucking mask.
Yeah.
If you're in a Uber with somebody, you should wear a mask in that car. It's just common sense, people. If you're going to be around other people in a grocery store, wear a fucking mask. You got to wear your shoes. You got to wear your shirt to get in the motherfucker. So wear your mask. It shows other people that you might care about their lives.
The problem is people don't care about other people's lives.
Right. They just care about themselves and barely that. Because even caring about yourself, self-preservation would have to kick in at some point. They don't even care about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ended on a sad note. Man, I wish we would have queued up that fly on his head. We could have left with a little old.
Yeah.
Oh, well. No reason to give any flies press.
Yeah, I know, right? Did you see, this is on Twitter, did you see those fucking stupid liberals saying that black flies lives matter now? Did you see that? I'm like, you fucking bastards, man.
No, I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah,
I have a tendency to respond to everything on Twitter.
Yeah, please shut the, people saying that, please shut the fuck up.
I saw a post that was like, do you know what a fly means when it lands on? Like,
fucking nothing.
It means he's a piece of shit. It's pretty simple.
It doesn't even really mean that either. It's just
No,
a
it
fucking
doesn't. I'm
lie.
being stupid.
Yeah,
you know.
but it is a
I
little
can't.
weird that it's
I can't wait till we
stayed
get through this and we like, let's go back to busting the establishment's chops because this is some bullshit.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, I feel like I'm a liberal, but I kind of just want to go back to normal for we can actually fight Democrats, not to fight these wars when it comes to Republicans.
Right.
And
yeah, man.
I worry that I worry that QAnon's gonna take even more stronghold in the Republican Party. Now, I don't know if y'all heard about it, but this is kind of just our little post game now.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard about it, but Facebook has banned pretty much all QAnon stuff. Even if you mention QAnon, there's a chance you might get banned. So I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of like a free speech person. Not a full on absolutist, but I think people should stop being fucking stupid and get their information from more than one source and stop getting it from some dude in the basement. Because that's where a lot of these people get these fucking nonsense from. Alex Jones and people even more insane than Alex Jones. But yeah, hopefully that will lessen the QAnon spread. But it does give them opportunity to say that the deep state or whatever is silencing them now. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You have anything to say to that, Pac, before we get out of here?
No, I mean, we've got so as progressives, man, we have so many battles to fight right now, and I'll just be glad when we get at least one of them out the way.
Yeah,
so that we can focus and hyper focus on holding these candidates on our side accountable for working class people and what we want.
Yeah.
So that's about it. I do want to, give our little run. We're still on the road to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Please share this, like this, subscribe to the channel. Tell your people to subscribe to the channel. If you've got progressive ideas, and you have, the will to help a channel kind of grow, we need your help, and we would appreciate any help you guys could give us.
Of course. Yep, that's all I gotta say. This is
All right.
Uprising.
Thank y'all.